how's it flying, Lance Corporal Hawk 30, and who bring on the pain? This is gonna be another long one. It's been a while. It's been a while since I did the last one, but I need to start slowly catching up on these playlists. And I'm sorry that it has taken me so long to get around to it, because this is one of those that's been requested since technically before I moved down, and it's taken me this long. Yeah, this is Elements of Justice, Turnabout Theater, Case 1, Episode 3, Trial Ladder. So this is the final part of this first little storyline. 2 hours, 8 minutes. Yeah, we're going to be here a while. But also, yeah. I'm trying... It's been long enough, and I haven't refreshed my memory, so I apologize. Phoenix... I'm pretty sure Phoenix and or Twilight found something to kind of help prevent a verdict from going through in Coco Palmel's favor. I'm pretty sure. We'll find out. It's gonna be figured out in this one anyway, so crap. I'm not wasting any more time though. Link to the original will be in the description. Please make sure you've seen it before you watch my reaction, because we're gonna be here a while. Let's go ahead and go. February 12th, 11:30 a.m. Manhattan District Court. Courtroom number 2.
Court will now reconvene. Prince Blueblood, has the police brought the results of the hoofprint analysis?
Ah, yes, hoofprints.
Yes,
that's what was found.
We have, Your Honor.
And
please share your findings with the court.
he don't wanna. Yeah, he's salty. He's salty because they're not lining up with what he had said.
It's just as the defense claims. The hoofprints don't belong to either the defendant or the victim.
Uh-huh.
Do they really belong to one of the other contestants in that fashion contest?
Yes, well,
yeah.
Just as Princess Twilight requested, we compared the prints found backstage and on the catwalk to those of the contestants. Apparently, some observant pony down at Forensics noticed that only one contestant was to any pony involved in this case. He checked their prints first and found a perfect match.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on. Come on.
That guy in all of my future cases, please?
You actually found a match? Then please tell us.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
The hoofprint analysis has concluded that the one who let those hoofprints at the time of the crime was a mare by the name of Surrey Polomere.
Surrey Polomere?
Yeah. And where is she at?
Twilight was right after all.
And where is she? Where that bitch at?
During the recess, she has just arrived and is waiting in the witness lobby, Your Honor.
Then please bring her to the stand.
Uh-huh. Grill her ass.
Name and occupation, please.
This is ridiculous. I was in the middle of something very important, and then the police barged into my apartment and demanded that I accompany them to the courthouse. Some nerve.
Witness, I would appreciate it if you would state your name and occupation for the record.
I need to finish my dresses before tomorrow. I'll be ruined if I don't finish soon. Can't you all see that I'm a very...
Can't you see you're involved in a murder? You bitch.
Like me and take me away from my duties, okay?
Witness, name, occupation.
Fine. Sorry, Polomere. I am a fashion.
She's just wasting everybody's time. The smarmy bitch.
Why you are called to the stand today?
Have no clue.
I am not. The police who showed up at my apartment didn't tell me a thing.
You killed somebody!
Here because you are suspected of murdering a costume designer by the name of Overall Concept.
What? Murder? I did no such thing. I'm too busy dealing with my own problems to commit something so heinous.
Who else would have done it?
I see.
So who else would...
Your Honor, that's all you have to say to that?
Well then, does the defense have any objections?
Yeah!
As shocking as it may sound, I do, Your Honor. Based on the analysis that the prosecution revealed, the hoofprints belong to Miss Polomere.
Yeah,
She must
duh.
have been the one who made them at the scene of the crime.
Of course.
Which means she must also be the one who stole overall concept special fabric and murdered him.
A human is here to accuse me of something I didn't do.
Well, what do you got to defend yourself?
Then how do you explain these hoof prints left behind? The analysis clearly shows that they're yours.
Now you listen here. I didn't commit any sort of theft or murder, but if it makes you feel any happier, I'll tell you what I was doing that night.
And what would that be?
You're actually going to cooperate?
She's gonna lie her ass off.
It's not like any of you are giving me a choice. Besides, I'm in the middle of something very important, so the sooner I get out, the sooner I can get back to work.
Well, we appreciate your cooperation, Miss Polo Mare. Now please testify as to your whereabouts at the time of the incident.
And hopefully somebody to cooperate. You can tell I don't like this one.
I guess I can't really hide this. I was indeed at the play that night. It was during the intermission that I went to the dressing room to meet up with Coco. As soon as the second act started, I took a casual walk backstage. I went up the catwalk, walked across, and went back down on the opposite side. I then went out the back door and left the theater before the incident happened.
Except that's not what the hoof prints show.
So, you admit that you were actually at the theater.
Don't act so surprised. I never denied that I was.
But you
Now, look,
lied about where
I
you
am in a hurry
walked.
right now. I've said what happened. Can I go home now? I have more
No.
important things to do.
No.
okay?
Then you better hope I don't find anything that makes you stay longer.
Indeed, Mr. Wright. You may now cross-examine the witness.
Dogs outside.
I
Bring
guess
up.
I can't really hide this. I was indeed at the play that night.
Hold it! You said you were busy earlier. Were you also this busy on the night in question?
Of course I was. I'm currently in a fashion contest and the dresses need to
You
be
steal
finished
those
soon.
designs too?
Not done yet?
You
So I
backstabbing
need all
bitch.
the time I can get to finish them. Like the time you're all wasting right now.
Well, if you cooperate and tell the
Contest really
truth.
that important?
Of course it is. This contest can make or break a designer's career.
If this contest is such a big deal, why did you go to the
Exactly.
I needed a break. I felt going to the theater would help me unwind. I knew Coco Palmel was working there, so I thought I might as well give
Oh,
her
I
a
bet.
visit.
I'll bet.
theater? You met with Miss Palmel.
What exactly were you doing with the defendant, witness?
It was during the intermission that I went to the dressing room to meet up with Coco.
Hold it! You went during the intermission.
Uh-huh.
I was late getting to the theater, so I couldn't make it backstage before the play started. When the play went on break, I figured it was the best opportunity to get backstage.
Uh-huh.
But aren't the staff in the theater guarding the stage?
Mm-hmm.
I find it hard to believe that they would let someone in the audience go backstage.
I've been to the theater many times, so the staff are quite familiar with me. They just let me through.
Mm.
But the staff didn't mention anything about you going backstage.
Uh-huh.
That's probably because they had no reason to. I wasn't there when the crime occurred, after all.
In that case, why didn't Miss Palmel mention anything about you?
Starting to
Miss
crumble.
Palmel could have easily lied about any pony else being involved.
I find that very hard to believe. If she actually didn't want to get caught as the murderer, she would have mentioned a third party was involved right there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Not mentioning just that makes your previous theory rather unlikely. Why would my client try so hard to create false evidence and then not even bother to mention that a third party was there?
Uh-huh.
Especially if there actually was one there.
Yeah. 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 Line them up and knock them down.
What the defendant was thinking. Unless you have a solid objection to this testimony defense, I suggest you move on.
Very well. That leads me to my next question. Why did you meet with Miss Palmel?
That is none of your concern.
Yes, it is.
I beg to differ. Your business with Miss Palmel has everything to do with this case.
Well, if it's that important, I was just there to visit her.
Yeah, and set her
Or
up.
what?
Nothing in particular, just to see her.
From what I hear, the two of you aren't exactly on good terms. Miss Palmel said she used to be your assistant, and she quit.
Motive to frame.
History is irrelevant. I was just there to see her again for old time's sake and put everything behind us.
So, what did you talk about?
Nothing much. I was wondering how she was doing. She and her friend were just working on this fabric.
And
as
did
we
you
have.
steal this fabric?
Special fabric? Did you know about the fabric prior to your visit?
No, this was the first time I'd heard about this fabric. They let me have a look, and I even touched it a bit. Very soft fabric, I should say.
So she felt the fabric. That would explain how she got paint on her hooves to make the hoof prints.
Yeah, she said she exited the opposite side. So why did she turn around and spot?
As soon as the second act started, I took a casual walk backstage.
Hold it! Took a casual walk around?
Well, I was finished with our conversation, so I just figured that looking around backstage was a good way to unwind. The area was way bigger than I thought, so I couldn't help but wander around looking at everything. It reminded me of the last fashion competition I was in, and of seeing the models wearing my
Get to the
designs
point
on
about
stage.
you walking on the opposite side of that catwalk.
If only I had won the contest, I would... But that was months ago.
Uh-huh.
I'm far too busy to talk about my past accomplishments.
Or lack thereof, according to Rarity and Co. Couldn't you just watch the show instead?
Motive.
If I decided to watch the show, then I would have gotten too distracted to get back to work on my dresses. But I still was a little curious about the play, so I took a little peek. From a different perspective, you could say.
Oh, I'll bet it was a different perspective.
I went up the catwalk, walked across, and went back down on the opposite side.
Hold it! You went up to the catwalk.
I wanted to see the play for a short bit before I left. I must admit the height was very intimidating, but it sure was a great view.
But neither playwright nor the stage hooves mentioned anything about you going up to the catwalk. Why would they not mention you being backstage, especially since you're not part of the audience or the staff?
A very important point.
If you recall playwright's testimony, you would know that he was paying attention to the play. He
Except
always
there were
looked at the
others there
catwalk
too,
there
like the
was right.
stage guards.
This witness had no reason to make any sort of ruckus, so it's possible that she went up to the catwalk quietly without any pony noticing, especially since backstage was dark at that moment.
Unfortunately, I can't deny that. It would explain the hoof prints.
Mention her turning around
Right
like
explanation.
the opposite direction, like
It has
duh!
to be something else. And I'm going to show her why all of this is false.
Any final statements, witness?
I then went out the back door and left the theater before the incident happened.
Hold it! Just so we're all clear, you came in through the main entrance and left through the back door. And that's what you're saying.
Where those hoof prints
That's
led.
correct.
Would you mind adding this to your testimony, for clarity's sake?
If it means I can leave soon, then fine.
Start front to back.
The witness will add this clarification to her testimony.
I entered the theater via the main entrance and left through the back door before anything even happened. Happy now?
Objection! Miss Polomare, there's a significant contradiction in your testimony.
What?
Bring
I
it.
see no such contradiction here.
Bring it.
Stop trying to force your reasoning when the trial's not going in your
You mean like you
favor.
did?
Huh, like you're wanted.
Yeah, exactly, douche.
Mr. Wright, would you care to explain this contradiction to the court?
Certainly, Your Honor. Suri claims that she left the theater before the murder took place, and therefore she has no connection to this case. Well, I have it on good faith that this claim is a bold-faced lie.
And what evidence do you have to support that statement?
Well, first,
Serve.
let's clear up a separate issue regarding Suri's movements that night.
Mm-hmm.
She mentioned that she entered the theater through the front, which was where the audience sat. I find that very odd.
Odd, but she was an attendee. That's where every pony goes when they enter the theater.
But
You're right. That's where the audience goes. That is, if you're actually a part of the audience.
she didn't buy a ticket.
Explain!
The witness said that she was late to the theater and arrived after the play had started. According to your own words, Prince Wooblood, the show in question was sold out around noon that day. It
Mm-hmm.
was actually Coco who purchased the last ticket, and gave it to one of her friends as a gift. This means that if Miss Polomaire just went to the theater on a whim, she would have had no way to get through the front door to get inside the theater.
Let it crumble!
Order! Order! Witness!
Of course she has! Of course she has!
No, of course not. I must have...
Trying to cover your ass, bitch!
What with the stress of this competition, I bought my ticket a few days in advance, so I was still able to get into the theater without any problems.
Even if that were true, that doesn't solve the biggest issue with your claim.
There's another?
Yeah.
Oh yes, and this will be the one that will reveal just how closely connected you are with this case.
Please explain, Mr.
The catwalk directionals.
Your Honor.
Bring it,
Please
please.
make sure to interrogate all 5,000 attendees in the theater. If you really had bought your ticket, then the police would have discovered your absence immediately. They would have only interrogated
That's a big one.
4,999 members of the audience. That means the only possible explanation for this inconsistency
Still not the
is that you were never
trail
part
on there.
of the audience.
But that is a very critical point right there.
Can't be.
Please add that bit, because that's an obvious one.
Miss Polomaire, it seems more and more likely that you've perjured yourself. What do you have to say to explain this?
They're not going to, are they? Unless I misheard.
It's obvious. I went back to my seat after I saw that it was raining outside. Jeez, why are you picking apart every insignificant detail?
Insignificant. Really?
Seat. How did you do that?
What do you mean, how did I do that? I walked back through the stage wing and returned to the audience.
Objection!
Wrong.
Unfortunately for you, that is impossible.
Why?
If you recall,
Bring
the
it.
stage wings were being watched during the second act of the play. There were stage hooves in the right wing, while playwright and his stage manager were in the left. Even if they could have somehow failed to notice the witness going to and from the catwalk, there's no way they would have missed her walking right past them.
Objection! But the right wing was empty following the incident. She could have made her way back to the audience at that point.
Except she said she left
Yes,
before it happened.
That's exactly what happened. I went back to my seat when the wing was empty.
Perjury.
Then the police obviously took your name down when they interrogated you, correct?
Tartarus with you, you filthy human!
Well, Prince Blueblood, was this witness among
No.
those who were
No.
interrogated?
No.
No, she was not.
What? How dare you?
So, as we
2/3,
Blueblood
bitch!
was not among those interrogated, the total number of which added up to a full house of 5,000. This, in addition to the glowing hoofprints, conclusively proves that Suri did not enter the theater as a member of the audience. She came in through the back door with the express purpose of stealing a roll of overall special fabric.
Witness!
Now burn her out the stake!
At once!
Gotta keep up with the facade or lie.
So, this is how far the equestrian royalty have fallen, huh?
What?
How pitiful. You can't even protect a damsel in distress from being falsely accused.
Now see here, I am trying my hardest to help.
Shut up! I do not believe I gave you permission to speak.
Excuse me? I am a prince, I'll have you know. The nephew of Princess Celeste.
Okay, they're not making a strong argument for yourself based off of that, dude. We've seen how you act.
Respect? Don't make me laugh.
She's pulling the whole
Uses
distraction
the
card.
Borrowing from his aunt for no other purpose than to grant himself prestige among the elites of Canterlot isn't some pony worth respecting.
Even if that's true, that's not relevant to the
The
case.
adults are talking now, okay?
Miss Polomaire, restrain yourself or you will be held in contempt of court!
Jeez. And here I thought a pony couldn't get any more intimidating.
She's pink. Just, the only pink one that is intimidating is Pinkie Pie in this
What
world.
does she mean this is how far the equestrian royalty have fallen?
Huh?
That has nothing to do with the case.
Please explain to the court how you came to be at the theater on the night of the murder.
Fine, I admit it. I was not there as an audience member.
Duh.
So you were lying to us.
Perjury, which is a
Yes, I
felony.
was.
Witness, what are you doing? You realize that lying to the court would make me look...
Shut up! Why should I care about how it makes you look? I don't recall you actually helping me out.
Just dig your grave and let it be done.
Talk back at me, witness. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm trying to save your sorry flank.
Then how about you stop sitting on yours and make yourself useful for once?
I mean,
Challenging my patience?
they both suck, so...
I've been trying to be patient ever since I got here, and I have no time to be patient. I have dresses to work on.
Order in the court! Witness, you've just committed perjury. But I will allow you an opportunity to clear the air. I suggest you take it rather than argue with the prosecution. Now,
Thank you for
why
putting your
would
foot
you
down,
lie to
Judge.
this court?
Maybe if you would all just be quiet for one moment, I can explain.
Now's not the time for back chat. Just
Let's cut to the
say
chase,
the
shall we?
truth.
You're trying to say that I stole the fabric and killed the costume designer, correct?
That's right. Uh-oh. Why do I have a bad feeling about what she's going to say?
If that's the case, then why wouldn't I have just left the theater after stealing it? I had no reason to stick around and murder Overall, correct?
Because she was
Well, what
about
if
to
he
be
caught you
caught.
trying to escape? You'd naturally want to stop him from catching you.
Stop him, perhaps? But there are several ways to do that without killing him, okay?
Well, perhaps you had some sort of hidden connection to the victim that we don't know about yet.
In
Possible.
that case, Your Honor, I would like to testify regarding my connection to this pony overall concept.
Okay.
What are you doing, witness? I'm supposed to be the one to call for things like that.
Can you shut up, Blue Blood?
Actually
Blue
do
Blood.
your job instead of waiting for me to do it for you. Maybe if you were actually competent at your job, I wouldn't be standing here.
If it ain't her, who could it be?
And my patience tested because of this human attorney's endless questioning. If you want something done right,
Questioning that is meant to find out who killed someone, you bitch.
never rely on others to do work for me anymore. Like I always say, it's every pony for themselves in the big city.
Well then, witness.
Get on with it.
Testify to the court about your connection to the victim.
Just insert all the Monty Python.
I
Get
wasn't
on with
part
it,
of the
bits.
audience. I noticed that the tickets were sold out, so I figured I'd come in the back door.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I came to the theater was to visit Coco Palmel and nothing else. It was then that I first met Overall Concept. After my visit, I left the theater. I had no reason to kill the victim.
That is weak. That's
So,
pathetically
is that all
weak.
you have to say,
Yeah,
witness?
like, what? That's
Well,
pathetically
honestly,
weak.
That's all that happened.
No.
It's quite a short testimony for us to dissect.
Then all I need to do is press for more information. She's bound to reveal something.
She already has.
Right. Please begin your cross-examination.
Unless I just misheard it, but I'm pretty sure she already had. I came into that side, then came across then exited the catwalk the other way. I'm pretty sure that is what she said.
I admit, I wasn't part of the audience.
Hold it! You acknowledge that you willingly trespassed in the theater.
Yeah.
Yes, but it wasn't as if I was gonna harm some pony. Besides, it's not like any of you have ever trespassed before.
No.
There's a big difference between a cattle ranch and a big city theater, you know. Were you planning on buying a ticket?
I
Obviously
planned
not.
to, but I noticed that the tickets were sold out, so I figured I'd come in the back door.
Hold it! Were there no other entrances in the theater?
The only one I knew was the back door.
And there were no ponies guarding the back door?
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be in this mess if there were guards in the back to stop me, wouldn't you say?
Point taken. So what did you do once you went inside?
Yeah.
The reason I came to the theater was to visit Coco Palmel and nothing else.
Hold it!
Yeah, she
Why
didn't
did you wanna
say
visit Miss
a
Palmel?
word about
She
you.
invited me to come over.
So you were a guest.
Yes, I actually went there because Coco gave me a letter that day to come to the theater near the end of the play.
A letter? Coco didn't mention anything about a letter to Suri. This has got to
Do you
be
have the
wrong.
letter?
Do you still have this letter by any chance?
No.
Not with me, but
She hesitated, so she probably was lying. Then how do we know that everything you just said was the truth?
I suppose you can't know for certain. But you absolutely cannot see that letter.
Why
He's
not?
really aggressive about this letter, but I don't have any proof that this letter was there or not.
Why not? Is it because you don't have the
Back to
letter?
this when the time comes. So, what did you do after you arrived at the theater?
I talked with Coco for a bit, and
She said,
it was then that I
Hmm.
first met Overall Concept.
Hold it!
You never met the victim before that point?
No, but I've heard of him. I mean, who hasn't? He earned his fame a few years ago in the same fashion contest I'm participating in. Something I'd love
oh,
to get back
really?
That checks
He
out
was
with what you told me
competition.
earlier. Did you talk to him at all?
No, he was too consumed by his work. He was busy with a sheet of gorgeous fabric at the time.
I see. And what did you do after your visit?
We
with
have
Coco?
motive.
After my visit, I left the theater. I had no reason to kill the victim.
I beg to differ.
Hold it! You did have a reason. You went to steal the fabric.
Even if I did, which I didn't, by the way, I wouldn't have needed to kill Mr. Concept in order to get away with it.
But he was chasing you. You had to get him off your tail somehow.
I would think that hanging some pony would be considered a bit extreme if all I
Yeah.
wanted to do was get him to stop
Yeah.
chasing me. Am I right?
He was also competition, though.
Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to disprove Miss Polo Mare's claims about having
She said it
no
herself.
motive to
He was
kill
in the same
victim?
competition.
What should I do?
It's staring you right in the face. I'm dumb and I'm connecting this.
And I can't deny the fact that murdering him to get away with a theft is too extreme. Especially since we know that the victim was knocked unconscious before he died. Hey, Twilight, any ideas?
Has she been thinking about other things?
Twilight?
She's been thinking about other
Oh,
things.
sorry. What were you asking me?
She's been
Suri's
distracted.
motive for killing Overall. As much as I hate to say it, I can't help but think that she wouldn't kill him if she could have made a clean getaway.
Perhaps she didn't have a motive to kill Overall after all then. Perhaps her motive for murder is actually related to someone else instead.
Oh,
Coco!
good thinking, Twilight.
Coco! She wanted to get back at Coco!
Do you have an answer?
Your Honor, the defense is willing to concede that the witness did not have a direct motive to kill the victim.
You see, so you finally acknowledge my visit.
No, not quite.
You didn't have a motive to kill the victim, but you did have a motive to hurt someone else.
Yes,
Right.
you
Are you
did.
suggesting that there were two victims that night?
In a way.
Indeed, I am, Your Honor.
Shut up!
Oh,
What
no.
nonsense is this? There was only one victim at the theater that night. Overall Concept.
Your Honor, I would like the witness to add that last statement to her testimony.
What?
Hmm?
I'm not sure how this will help, but I guess I'll follow along. Witness,
Are we in check,
please add that
boys and
last
girls?
statement to your testimony.
Are we in check?
Ah. There was only one victim at the theater that night. Overall Concept.
Objection! Only one victim, huh? It seems you've forgotten about someone else who ended up as a victim in this case.
What are you blathering on about, attorney? Overall Concept was the only pony who was killed at
The only
theater
one
that day.
killed.
But that doesn't mean he was the only victim.
Quit wasting my time and just say what you want to say, okay?
Very well. It's true Overall Concept was the one murdered, but being murdered isn't a requirement in order to become a victim.
and just as confused as everyone else. Could you please explain, Mr. Wright?
For example,
Coco and him are
someone
gonna be
being the
married.
victim of assault. And while the victim was assaulted before his death, someone else was also attacked at the scene of the crime. Coco Palmel.
Miss Pamel? You mean with that stain on her mane?
Uh-huh.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Objection! So what does that prove? It doesn't prove that the witness was the one who caused that mark on her mane.
Objection!
Oh,
Well,
really?
it's not exactly proof that she was the one who attacked Miss Palmel. It would establish her motive for murdering overall.
Her motive?
To
Think about
hurt
it.
Coco.
After Miss Palmer was able to knock overall down, all she needed to do was run away. As she said herself, she never knew the victim, leaving her no reason to commit murder.
Finally, you understand. I told you I would
You're
want
the
to
one
do
that doesn't
something to kill
understand.
him.
You're about to get
But
flamed.
then somebody else gave you a reason.
What's this now?
What do you mean?
Tell it. Tell
You
it.
know who Coco Palmel is, correct?
Duh.
Is this a joke? I've already mentioned I do.
And
You being flippant
what was
isn't
your
gonna get them off your
relationship with
case.
her again?
Well,
Before you say anything, I should warn you, both Rarity and Coco are listening, and I'm sure they'd be willing to testify to the truth if the need arises.
Objection! What does Miss Polomer and Miss Pomel's past relationship have?
It didn't exactly end on the nicest of terms, you
No, let
dunce.
me explain. When I spoke to Miss Palmel and Rarity, they had some very negative things to say about Miss Polomer. In the fashion contest that both Rarity and Suri Polomer had entered, Miss Polomer stole some of Rarity's own special fabric to make dresses with, and took all of the credit. Yet, it wasn't even the witness who made the dresses. Coco made them.
You're shaking now, bitch!
But that's not all. At the end
This
of
is
the
not
contest,
family
she
friendly if
lied
you
to
can't
Rarity
tell. At least not on
that
my
she
end.
had lost, and made Coco lie to her as well. In response to her dishonesty, Coco quit as Miss Polomer's pupil.
You're saying that this witness has a history of lying
Yes,
and
she
cheating?
does.
so what? Even if I did any of that, how does this have anything to do with this case?
You've already committed perjury.
It's actually got everything to do with it.
Really?
Now that we know their history together, let's bring it back to the current incident. Miss Polomer could have just knocked out overall concept and left with the special fabric, but a certain former pupil was right behind him.
Yes, that would be Miss Pamel. Oh!
With Coco Palmel in the picture, it changes everything. I think anyone would have some feeling of animosity towards someone who called you out as a liar and a cheat in such a big contest. Am I right? Maybe the feeling was so deep-seated that you would do anything to get back at them.
We have
Even
motive.
Frame them for murder.
Definitive motive.
What?
Duh! Dumbass! You saw that coming a mile away!
Order! Order! Mr. Wright, explain what you mean at once!
Your
Nothing
Honor,
to say?
The witness's motive in this case is not actually tied to the victim at all. Her motive was revenge against her former pupil, Coco Palmel.
You're saying that the witness killed someone simply to frame another for their death?
Yeah.
Exactly. Here's how I think things played out. Miss Polomer was originally planning on just stealing the fabric and escaping. After she knocked Overall out, she was about to make her exit, but then Coco showed up right behind the victim. After knocking her out too, Miss Polomer realized that she was in the perfect position to get revenge on the pony who had caused her such grave humiliation. That's right. She hanged Overall just to get revenge on Coco Palmel.
Who was that?
Suri. Or someone else.
Witness?
Shut up! I
Yeah.
had enough of this farce of a trial. Listen to you all. This is what Equestria is depending on as its means of serving justice? This court is an absolute farce.
Can you disprove any of it?
Calm down, witness.
Silence, you senile old fool!
Contempt of court.
Excuse me? Senile?
Yes, a senile old fool. You're the one who's supposed to be mediating this trial, correct? Then why haven't you put an end to that human lawyer's baseless slandering against me?
Except it's not baseless. You've got the paint on your hooves, you idiot.
Shut up! See? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Even though
You've got the paint on your hooves that was on the freaking fabric, you retard.
Anyway. And you... Me? You're supposed to be...
Can you stop being pathetic for 2 seconds, Blue Blood?
But you said you wanted to.
Shut up! It's not your job to stand there and complain. It's to prosecute that little traitor over there, okay?
Traitor?
Why don't you go and get started by debunking this lawyer's theory?
Objection.
Ugh. Do I have to do everything myself? Absolutely worthless. Ugh. Seems as if it's not only every pony for themselves in that big city, it's every pony for themselves no matter where you are.
Witness.
What?
You're saying that my theory is completely false. You didn't kill the victim or frame Ms. Palmel for his death.
Of course not.
In that case, I'd like you to testify to the full truth of what you did at the theater that night.
Ugh. Fine. Since neither the judge nor the prosecution will help me, I suppose I have to do this myself.
Very well. Witness, please test it.
Shut up!
Contempt
I know
of
what I need
court.
to do. Now sit back and listen so the truth doesn't escape those worn-out ears of yours.
Yes, ma'am.
Why can't you grow a spine, dude?
Finally approaching the end of our little play here. Time to make it or break it.
Derpy in the back just...
I met with Coco Palmel after receiving a letter from her. After our meeting, I left the room, only to have Overall start chasing me. I ran up to the catwalk, hoping to outrun him. Suddenly, I heard a thud, and I noticed that Overall was on the ground, and the fabric fell out of his mouth. I saw Coco come from behind, grab the roll of fabric, and hit him over the head. She then took his body, wrapped a noose around his neck, and dropped him from the ledge. Coco told me to unwrap the fabric from the roll and leave the building, and I begrudgingly obliged.
Yeah, that's a big spin
You saw Miss Coco
from what
murder
you were
Mr.
trying to say
Concept?
before.
Yes, I am a witness to the actual crime.
Why did you not mention this to me before?
Yeah.
This is crucial information.
Coco told me to keep this a secret. It was her idea after all.
Yeah, you're gonna trust the
If this
habitual liar?
testimony is the truth, then that means
Hold it.
you're an accomplice.
Yeah.
It's not as if I wanted to do this. Coco told me to keep
Even
it
if
private.
what you're saying is the truth, you are admitting...
Very hard to believe. You honestly think this sudden revelation that
Exactly,
Coco somehow
Phoenix. Exactly.
forced you to cooperate will convince anyone?
Look, I saw what I saw, and I had to obey because I was afraid I would be her next victim, okay?
She's trying so hard to frame Coco for all of this.
Yeah, we've got motive.
All we gotta do is prove that she didn't do it. I think there's plenty of things she didn't take into account.
Can you please just knock all this bitch's bravado out from underneath her? I want to see her buried underneath the jailhouse now. Please.
I met with Coco Palmel after receiving a letter from her.
Where's the
How
letter?
did you receive this letter?
Well, I found it under my door when I got back to my apartment. It was probably around 4 in the afternoon.
That's odd. I thought she was lying about the letter earlier, but she answered rather quickly there. And what time did you go to the theater?
Well, I knew the play started at 7 and lasted about 2 hours long, so I made sure to arrive at the theater around 8:45.
according to the autopsy report, the time of death was between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. This lines up perfectly.
Yeah.
What did you do once you were there?
I met up with Coco in the dressing room. She said she just wanted to catch up after not talking for a while. She and her friend, Overall Concept, were just finishing up coating a sheet of fabric with fluorescent paint. I even accidentally touched some of the wet paint.
Accidentally,
when I went to feel the
you
fabric.
said.
Overall scolded me for doing so.
That mostly lines up with what Coco remembers. Is that a lucky guess? Or did she actually visit her? Did you do anything else during your visit?
Nothing much, really. As soon as they were done with coating the fabric in paint, Coco left the room for a moment to wash her hooves. There was really nothing left for me to talk about, so I just made my leave, as I did have to wash my hooves as well.
Except
However,
you didn't.
I suddenly heard some kind of commotion. After our meeting, I left the room, only to have Overall start chasing me.
Ha, contradictory.
Overall started chasing you?
It was so out of nowhere. He was holding a fabric roll in his mouth, and he just had this very angry look on his face. I think you'd freak out too if a stallion like that just started running towards you.
Can you stop trying to turn it around on me?
Yeah, quit projecting.
About this fabric roll. Was it bare?
No, it had the fabric Coco, and he had just finished working on wrapping around it. My best guess is he was rolling up the fabric, and then something disturbed him, so he ran out of the dressing room with it.
The victim rolled up the sheet of fabric while it was still wet. I don't buy
Yeah,
it.
no.
So, how did you react to the situation?
I ran up to the catwalk, hoping to outrun him.
Couldn't you have just gone straight for the back door?
Yeah.
I could have, but I saw Coco Palmel on the other side of the backstage area, and I didn't want to crash into her, so I went up the catwalk instead.
You saw Miss Palmel?
For a brief moment, yes. She looked very surprised as well.
But wouldn't Playwright have been able to see you going up the catwalk too?
Mm-hmm.
Objection! You should know the answer to that by now, human. Playwright's testimony stated that he didn't see Miss Polymere go up
Exactly.
the catwalk when he saw the chase. In fact, it was you who suggested that she was far ahead enough that Playwright must have missed her.
He's right. It was me who pointed that out. If anything, this at least confirms my suggestion. I just hope the rest of
Uh-huh. He's trying to kind of lead her, I think.
So what did you do when you reached the top?
Yeah.
I was correct in thinking that going up to the catwalk would slow him down.
What do you mean by that, witness?
Suddenly, I heard a thud, and I noticed that Overall was on the ground, and the fabric fell out of his mouth.
He tripped?
Yes, and based on the sound of the clang he made, he must have
The
tripped
TF2
hard.
clang.
Coco and Playwright mentioned something about hearing a clang as well. But would the victim tripping really make such a loud noise? Where did the
It's a good
fabric
question.
roll after he dropped it?
Nowhere really. It just landed right in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Did you keep running after he tripped?
I was going to
Except it was still
originally,
wet, so they would have
but
seen
I
a
saw
big
something
wet
right
smear
inside.
on the catwalk. Instead
I
of
saw
just
Coco
hoof
come
prints.
from behind, grab the roll of fabric, and hit him over the head.
Objection! Miss Polomere, that statement contains a glaring issue.
There wasn't any on the body, was there?
Ring.
Care to explain, Mr. Wright?
And the paint was on the
Certainly.
roll.
The witness claims that she saw Coco take the fabric roll and hit Overall on the head with it.
I fail to see the problem with that statement.
The paint was still wet on it.
Well, if you recall, Coco's hooves didn't have a trace of paint on them.
Exactly.
If the fabric was wet enough to cover Miss Polomere's hooves in paint, then it should have also covered Coco's when she grabbed it.
Get the sniper
It's
shot
a
in.
fairly simple explanation, human. Remember that this paint could have been washed in the rain. Since this witness stated that Miss Pamel gave the fabric to her and left the theater with it, she didn't need to hide the fabric herself, which means she wouldn't have needed to step outside completely, just far enough out that she could get her hooves wet. You see, this was all part of the defendant's plan to
Except
frame Miss Polymere
Coco
with
was
crime.
found on the catwalk.
In that case, how do you plan to explain away these other two inconsistencies?
Bring it on! Finally, let this be done!
They arise from a detail in the autopsy report. Namely, the areas where the fabric roll touched the victim.
What's wrong with that? The autopsy stated that there was a bruise on the back of the head, and if Miss Pommel came from behind, it would naturally be the area where she would strike him.
Except he tripped and it fell in front of him.
It's not what's been left behind on Overall's body that's the problem. It's what
Plus the
wasn't
paint.
left behind.
Huh? What do you mean?
Have you forgotten already?
Yeah.
The fabric had just been coated with fluorescent paint, and it was still wet at the time of the crime. If Overall was really holding it in his mouth, there would have been traces of paint left over
Or
in his
anywhere
mouth.
on his body, too, if he was hit with it.
Perhaps the paint was washed away by his saliva then.
Even if that were somehow the case, it wouldn't matter, because there was another spot where the paint couldn't have been washed away.
Couldn't...
You realize it now, don't you, you dunce?
Overall was hit on the back of the head with the wet fabric on the fabric roll, then some of the paint would have been discovered there.
Line it up in your crosshairs, Phoenix, and take the shot, buddy.
What's happening? Someone please enlighten me so that I can be shocked too.
Dude!
Your Honor, the autopsy report states no other substances or residues were found on the victim's body aside from the glitter on his forehooves. We also know, thanks to the previous testimony, that the special fabric was indeed wrapped around the fabric roll at the time of the murder. And it was most definitely still wet.
Oh!
Based on all this evidence and the testimony presented up to this point, it is impossible for the victim to have been hit on the head with the fabric.
Or anywhere else on the body.
What?
Yeah, you taste that, Siri? It's the taste of defeat, and the taste of your impending prosecution.
Explanation is the roll must have been empty this whole time. It would explain why there were no stains on him.
Objection!
Except...
Unfortunately, Prince Blueblood, that cannot be the case. A torn piece of fabric was found on stage, indicating that the fabric must have gone up the catwalk at some point. And
One moment. I am taking a moment to see, yes, we are still recording. We are not even an hour in, and it feels like it's been so much longer. Okay, let's go.
even if we were to ignore that, the witness herself just claimed that the fabric was on the roll when it was...
Uh-huh.
Then that must mean that the defendant unwrapped the fabric from the roll as soon as she got up there, and then hit Overall with it.
Unless you were a unicorn, unwrapping the roll would have taken far too much time, and Overall would have managed to escape without being attacked.
Yeah.
No matter what way you try to interpret it, it is impossible for Coco or anyone else to have used the fabric roll to hit the victim.
So,
You're
what
done.
was the fabric roll used for then, Mr. Wright?
It's become apparent that Suri Polomer was the only one who could have brought the fabric up to the catwalk.
And why's that?
Overall couldn't have done so without getting paint on himself, and Coco couldn't have done it without being seen by Playwright. So there's only one pony left. Process of elimination. Right, Prince Blueblood? So,
Ooh, them
Miss
crits!
Polomer, do you deny that you were the one who carried the fabric roll up the catwalk? There's no one else who could have done it, so you might as well...
So what if I did?
Huh?
Listen here, human. Maybe I did steal the fabric. Maybe I did attack Coco Pommel. But here's the thing. This proves nothing!
It proves you've been lying and committing perjury.
Proves nothing.
You're saying that I knocked both the victim and Coco Pommel out with that fabric roll, right? Well, how exactly did I manage to not leave any traces of paint on the victim myself then, You're claiming that Coco couldn't have hit the victim with the roll because she would have left paint on him. The same reasoning applies to me, does it not?
You used something
That
else,
is indeed
clearly.
True, but if you really did go to the theater to steal the fabric, it's possible that you might have prepared a weapon of your own to fend off anyone
Yeah,
who would try to
logical
stop you.
conclusion.
It's possible?
Plus, they heard a clang.
Well, then why don't you go ahead and prove that possibility? I can say for certain that I did not bring a single thing to the theater other than what I have on right now.
Other than what you have on right now.
So go ahead.
Searcher.
Prove the existence of this other weapon if you can.
Well, Mr. Wright, can you prove the existence of a different weapon?
Something in the back of the head.
Used to knock out the victim?
Heard a clang.
Are you kidding me? How am I supposed to do that? got no leads to go off of. It could be anything.
Admit it, you have nothing, filthy human.
Racist!
Your Honor,
Racist bitch!
Yes, Miss Polomere?
I request an escort to take me back to my apartment. And hopefully, we can all put this travesty behind us.
I'm afraid you will have to be brought in for questioning before that. You were an accomplice to the
Uh-huh.
after all. But I'm sure the police can arrange for some form of transportation after that.
Whatever. It's still better than being charged for murder.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't think of something now, she's going to get away.
Prove the existence of the letter.
Twilight, there's nothing. I don't know what she could have used to knock the victim out.
Calm down. There's gotta be something we've overlooked.
How can I calm down now? The real killer's about to get away.
How the heck how in the
Follow my
hell have you not with the catwalk prince?
What was that?
It's a breathing exercise my sister-in-law taught me.
Yes.
And she taught me this to prepare myself for stressful situations I would have to face as a princess
Twilight.
myself.
Yes.
I
Good.
see. Wait, your sister-in-law?
That's not relevant right now, Phoenix. You can ask these questions later.
Your princess?
That's not important right now.
Yes! Phoenix, focus.
Right.
Focus, dude.
Sorry.
Get that laser precision back in
I have
line.
to think quickly here. Suri must have brought something to the theater that night to use as a weapon.
But the only thing she'll admit to having brought with her are the clothes she has on
So
now.
search her!
Then let's see if we can use those.
Are you nuts? How could she have knocked someone out with an article of clothing?
Wrap it around her hoof.
We'll think about that later. This is the only lead we have left right now.
Well then, if there are no further objections, I believe it is time we conclude the cross-examination.
There's one more thing,
of this
Judge.
witness.
About time, too.
Objection!
Yeah, there. It's like, hurry up and get it. Just come on, guys.
Your Honor, the defense would like to present evidence at this time.
Evidence?
Yeah.
Yes, evidence that shows exactly what this witness used to attack overall concept on the night of the murder.
Shut up! Impossible! You can't possibly have anything!
Mr. Wright, please explain what you mean.
Search the witch.
I've gotta think fast here. No, not just fast, crazy. Miss Polomere must have somehow knocked out overall with just a piece of clothing. She's not wearing anything else that would be heavy enough to cause such a large bruise on the back.
Wrapped around her hoof.
So, time to think outside of the box.
Maybe.
Instead of figuring out what she used on the victim, let's figure out what she did to him to cause that bruise.
The hard hoof steps from them on the wooden floor were already bad enough.
Hard hoof steps.
Start with a rattling catwalk and that loud clang. That's enough to ruin a play. as
Clang.
it is.
On the way up the stairs, I heard a loud clanging noise, and I ran as quickly as I could to see what happened.
Brass hooves, maybe? A horseshoe?
Wait, could it be?
Like, what's that stuff by the rope? What was that stuff by the rope?
Time's up, Mr. Wright. The witness has made some valid points in her defense. Do you have anything to refute them?
Unless she...
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, come on.
Told you before.
You didn't need
Bring a
to.
weapon to the
You were on a
theater.
metal catwalk.
Oh, I believe you. You didn't bring anything of the sort.
But, Mr. Wright, wasn't your whole theory based on her having another weapon?
Just take the shot, Phoenix.
Still is.
Explain, human.
Something was on the catwalk.
The weapon wasn't a conventional one.
Meaning?
The defense is of the opinion that we've been going about this the wrong way. Recall that playwright mentioned there was a loud clang during
She hit him against the TF2 sound. She hit him against the railing of the catwalk.
That was when the victim tripped. We just established this in Miss Polomere's testimony.
You tried to establish it.
I think that noise was really the moment when Overall was knocked unconscious.
And how would that be? You've admitted that she had no weapon with her. What else could
The
possibly have made
catwalk
that
was
clang?
metal. The railings were metal.
I completely agree. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the witness Surrey Polo Mare knocked the victim out using the catwalk itself.
What?
Shut up! Do you hear yourself, human? How in the world would I have been able to use a cow?
You done? She just grab someone and throw it against them.
Simple. All you had to do was throw him against it. If he hit the back of his head against the railing hard enough, I'm sure that would have been able to knock him out cold.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Objection!
Then why are you looking scared?
Impossible, might I add. The witness is a mare of rather petite stature.
Dirty
You're
tricks.
Suggesting that she managed to overpower a fully grown stallion with nothing but her hooves, and then, after doing so, throw him hard enough against the railing to knock him unconscious?
Not quite.
Huh?
You're right that she used the railing to knock him out, but she didn't do so with her bare hooves.
Would this be related to that unconventional weapon you mentioned
Bring it
earlier
on.
by any
Bring it on.
chance?
Exactly, Your Honor. In fact, she kindly brought it into the court for all to see.
What?
Your Honor, this is the weapon Miss Polar used to overpower the victim. Take that!
You're saying she used
Haha.
scarf?
Recall what the witness just said moments ago.
I can say for certain that I did not bring a single thing to the theater other than what I have on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing other than what she has on. Ah!
Oh!
Yeah.
If that's true, then the weapon she used should be clear as day. After making it to the catwalk, she took the scarf off of her neck and waited for the victim to ascend as well. Once he did, she quickly wrapped the scarf around the unsuspecting Overall's neck. The two no doubt struggled as he tried to free himself. But as his strength waned, Miss Polomare managed to knock out Overall by throwing him against the catwalk's railing.
Objection! Are you listening to yourself, human? If she had done that, she would have left marks around the victim's neck.
Marks that I'm sure weren't just seen as having been caused by the rope. Am I right?
Aha.
Huh?
Then, just as Miss Polomare finished incapacitating Overall, who should show up but Coco. After coming across a scene like that, she would have been too on guard for the witness to use her scarf again. So instead, she used the fabric roll
Which is how she got the paint on her head.
to knock Coco out as well.
Shut up! You... What are you even talking about? I did no such thing.
Scared?
Please throw this lawyer
Scared?
out of now.
No.
I'm sorry, Miss Polomare, but I can't do that.
Why is that?
Because he's the defense.
Wright's theory may seem far-fetched, but I cannot deny that what he has proposed is indeed a possibility. Prince Blueblood, any thoughts?
Well...
Not really, no.
Oh dear. It seems we have reached an impasse. I suppose I have no choice but to suspend proceedings of this...
Wait.
Hold it! Your Honor, I have evidence to prove my innocence.
And why did you present it earlier?
Do? Well, let's hear it then.
Very well. Mr. Wright, you're saying that I used my scarf to strangle the victim on the night of the murder, correct?
Well, not exactly to death or anything, but something like that, yes.
In that case, there should be paint marks on my scarf, right? I clearly wasn't aware of the paint that stained my hooves since I left behind a pretty noticeable trail at the scene. So,
Do you have more than one scarf?
That means I wouldn't have washed it to get rid of those marks, correct?
I suppose so.
Then go ahead. I'll give you permission to test my scarf for traces of paint.
How many scarves do you have that look the same?
On it.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you wish to request that we test Miss Polomare's scarf?
This feels like a trap. There's no doubt that she was unaware of the paint that night. If she had known, she wouldn't have left such a clear trail behind. In that case, the fact that she so eagerly gave up her scarf for testing can only mean that she's certain that whatever paint she left on has been washed off. So then, the answer should be clear.
Come on.
No, Your Honor.
Hmm.
Why not, Mr. Wright? This could be your only chance to prove your case.
That would be because there's no way that the scarf has any paint left on it.
And how are you so sure of that?
Because last night, at the time of the murder, it was raining outside.
Ah! Yeah, you got the bitch. Now put her in the
Even though you're
chokehold.
completely unaware of the fluorescent paint that night, that doesn't matter in the slightest. Any traces of paint that remained on your hooves or your scarf would have undoubtedly been washed away by the rain as you made your way back home.
You insolent human!
Order! Order! Witness, restrain yourself.
Shut up!
Contempt of
Please
court.
stay out of this. This is between me and that lawyer over there.
Contempt of court. Contempt of court. Dude, just throw in contempt of court. Dude, grow a spine. Contempt of court. That's clearly contempt of court.
Since you refuse to let me try and prove my own innocence, how about you show some evidence that proves my guilt?
Your guilt.
Everything you've said so far is all based on circumstantial evidence. The scarf, the fabric, the clothing. You've woven a fascinating yarn. But can you prove it to be true?
Right. At the moment, this is all just conjecture.
The catwalk.
But that's about to change very soon.
If you can't prove I killed Overall and framed Coco for it, then cease your baseless accusations, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Wright,
Okay.
do you
Mr.
have
Mac,
anything
okay.
that conclusively
No,
proves
okay,
that this
okay.
witness was the one who killed Overall Concept and then framed the defendant as an act of revenge?
This is it. The final piece of the puzzle. If I can't prove Suri's guilt now, the trial will have to resume tomorrow. Who knows what that could mean for us.
Do you know what we can use now, Phoenix? I don't think any of the evidence is conclusive enough to show that Suri had anything to do with the murder or the framing.
Perhaps not right now, but we may just see it in a moment.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Suri made one big mistake that night. She got her hooves covered in fluorescent paint.
Uh-huh.
Then, whatever she touched also got contaminated in that paint. And unfortunately for her, she just had to go the extra mile when framing Coco for the crime.
Oh, I see now.
I don't
Just
yet.
To see if we can make it stick.
I won't ask again, Mr. Wright. Present your evidence now, if you have any, to prove that
Please
this witness is
do.
the real guilty party behind this crime.
He's got nothing. He can't have anything.
I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Miss Polymere. I do have the evidence that proves that you were the guilty party, and it's right here. Take that!
Isn't that the fabric roll?
What in Equestria does that prove? There's nothing on there to suggest that I even touched it.
When looking at it normally, you're right. However, we've yet to examine this fabric roll completely.
Mm-hmm.
Completely?
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, with your permission, I would like to perform one last
Aha!
once I shine it over this fabric roll.
Oh.
We'll see once and for all who really killed Overall Concept.
Yeah.
What? No. No!
Why you scared? Why you scared?
Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I don't understand. How would any traces found on that fabric roll prove who killed the victim?
It's simple, Your Honor. When we adjourned for recess earlier, Coco told me she had regained some of her memories.
Oh? And what did she remember?
Unfortunately, she couldn't remember exactly what had happened on the catwalk, but she did remember everything after she awoke from being knocked out. This fabric roll was resting in her hooves, which had suddenly become covered in glitter, despite the fact she had just washed them.
The fabric roll was in her hooves?
If she is to be believed, then this means someone must have placed it there, and there's only one pony who could have done that. Miss Polymere, I'm going to run this flashlight over this fabric roll. If we find your hoof prints on there, left clearly by the paint your hooves were covered in, then I would say this whole case is solved.
Bring it on.
Why so scared?
Oh! Ah! Quick! Someone analyze them!
It's a freaking match. Isn't it?
Prince Blueblood, are the results back yet?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are cowed. You have lost. Ha ha ha
The hookers found on the fabric roll match those of Surrey Polymer.
Yeah.
It's over, Suri.
You
Now
lost.
that we know you're responsible for framing Coco, that would naturally mean you were also the one who killed Overall Concept.
Suck on it.
So, Surrey Polymer, what do you have to say for yourself?
Wow, that was very animated. She ain't got nothing to say. I thought she was about to try to kill herself there for a second. Like, what?
Well, I do believe we've finally come to the conclusion of this trial.
I agree.
I would say so at this point.
If I am to understand correctly, Miss Polo Mare was the only other pony at the scene of the murder,
Yeah.
and all the evidence points to her. Her motive was to steal a roll of the victim's fabric for the contest she was participating in, and she was caught in the process of stealing it and retaliated against her pursuers. After they were both knocked unconscious, she hung Overall Concept in an effort to get revenge on her former pupil.
Yes.
Your Honor. Everything lines up, and all the facts are in place.
Yep.
Indeed. I see no room for doubt.
You did it, Phoenix! You won!
All's well that ends well.
No, I can't lose. Not to
We've
this-
got an hour left. Does somebody try to throw something in the mix?
The truth led us to this conclusion, Blue Blood. There's nowhere else to go from here.
Will you quit? Will you quit whining, you baby?
I didn't do it. You have to play me, please.
We don't. We don't. Not for a second.
Mooney, help me.
Now then, I believe it is time I hand down my verdict. The court finds the defendant, Coco Pamel,
Who?
Please hold on for a second.
Coco?
Huh?
Miss Pamel? What are you doing? I was about to hand down your verdict.
Wait! There's something I need to tell you. It's important.
Something important?
What is it, Miss Pamel?
I have an objection to the defense.
Coco? Please don't let this be a moment where you're trying to save someone else from going to prison. Please don't let that be the case.
His last statement.
What?
Why?
Order! Order in the court! Defendant, what is the meaning of this?
I remember now. I remember everything.
Remember?
Wait, Coco, you regained all your memory?
Yes, all of it.
What do you mean
What
by
happened?
all of it?
I can tell you in full detail about the chase, even what happened on the catwalk.
What?
Well, don't just stand there looking adorable. Please, tell the court what you mean.
Admittedly, I didn't see the moment he fell, but I know for a fact that Surrey, she couldn't have been the one who pushed him down.
Huh?
What?
That's...
Impossible!
Well then why the hell did Suri make such a big mess? make such a big fuss about being called out
Order in the court!
at the end there? Like, why? Who else could have done it?
Do you realize what you just said? By doing this, you're incriminating yourself.
Are you trying to make a mockery of this court?
I don't think she's gonna take the blame on herself.
You stay out of this. This doesn't involve you anymore.
I'm going to be arrested for murder if I don't do something!
Why do you care? You hate my guts. If anything, you should be thrilled about this.
Okay, we're at the stage this doesn't make sense.
I can't just sit by and watch this happen. If I don't say anything, you're gonna get sent to the moon!
Maybe it's what I deserve for getting myself into trouble all the time.
No, you don't!
What the
You keep saying that it's every pony for themselves, but that's just not true.
fuck is going on here?
Great friend, they should always show generosity to others, even if they may not deserve it. So I'm going to help you, whether you want me to or not.
I couldn't care less about why you're doing this. What matters is what this means.
Please say no. Like, I didn't do it, but somebody else was there.
Defendant?
Not at all. If it's all right, I'd like to explain what I saw on the night of the murder.
Coco, what else is there left to be said? It's been proven that Miss Bullimere was behind this. I understand how you must feel, but...
Please, Mr. Wright, I have to do this. I have to save her.
Well, then who?
I trust her. She would never kill any pony.
You trust her?
And
What?
so please, let me testify. Let me tell you what really happened that night.
You trust the God.
Really?
if you're that certain of your own testimony, then I trust you.
Go ahead.
Your Honor,
If you want to save the bitch.
please allow my client to testify. From it, we should be able to find the real truth.
So who is the last minute third party that actually done did it? Like,
Very well. Miss Pommel, please testify about what you witnessed at the night of the murder.
Thank you, Your Honor. And you too, Mr. Wright.
We're in uncharted waters now. The only thing I really know is that whatever it is Coco has to say will lead us to the truth.
Yeah. I don't know why you try to save such a lying bitch like Suri, but whatever.
I was returning from the restroom after washing my hooves with the paint and glitter. I suddenly saw Overall running up to the catwalk, and then I quickly followed him. While running up the stairs, I heard a loud clang from above.
Yeah,
When
the
I
engineer
ran across the
clang.
catwalk, I saw Suri looking over the edge with a special fabric in her mouth. I ran to her to ask where Overall was, but then she swapped the roll in my head, and I was knocked out. When I came to, I looked down for the catwalk and saw Overall hanging with a rope tied around his neck. Before I could even scream, Larry found me, and I just stood where I was until the police came.
That seems to be quite consistent with what the defense has
Yeah,
already
so
uncovered.
how does that disprove Suri?
But if you'll let me explain further...
Objection! Why are we continuing with this charade?
Can you shut up, you ponce?
Dirty human, did you set this up
Racist.
to rub my defeat in my face?
Of course not. It's our duty as keepers of the law to find the truth. The whole truth.
Yeah.
All you care about are your own personal victories. Then I suggest you find a different occupation.
Yeah.
You little blue cretin!
You're wearing blue too. It's in your name, you tard.
Hey,
I'll disrespect y'all the live long day.
blue blood? Nephew to Prince...
Blah 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 blah. Shut up.
I don't care who you are.
Tell
I'm here
him.
to find the truth. And if you aren't here to do the same, then the only experience you're gonna get with these trials is how to severely damage your own judicial system.
Enough! Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination.
Somebody just please put a muzzle on blue blood. Don't give him.
I was returning from the restroom after washing my hooves with the paint and glitter.
Hold it! Are you certain that you were able to wash everything off?
Yes, I did. I knew that I was dealing with fluorescent paint,
Uh-huh.
so I had to be thorough thorough with my washing. I actually had to turn off the lights while washing my hooves to see if I got everything off.
Is it that difficult to wash off?
I would imagine
As long
so.
as it's still wet, it's manageable. It's not as easy when it's dry, though. That's why I had to wash my hooves immediately.
So, why didn't Overall have any paint on his hooves? He was working with you, right?
Yeah, but he was mostly just showing me how to properly paint the fabric, so he barely touched the stuff.
I see.
Okay.
You also said that you were returning to the dressing room. Anything in particular that seemed off while heading back?
Well, something like that.
What?
I suddenly saw Overall running up to the catwalk, and then I quickly followed him.
Hold it! Did
Yeah?
you see anyone else before you saw Overall?
No, I only saw him. Or at least, that's all I could see when I looked.
What do you mean by that?
While I was on my way back, I was listening to the play. I was really happy with how great the actors were doing, and it sounded like their best performance yet. I only noticed that something was wrong when I heard loud hoof steps, and that was when I looked ahead towards the dressing room. I only saw Overall sprinting out of the dressing room for a split second.
Okay.
Did you see which direction he was running to?
Yeah.
It looked like he was heading towards the stage. I even called his name, hoping he would respond, but he didn't say anything. I was really worried.
And that's when you started running after him.
Yes, I had to find out what the problem was. When I next caught sight of him, I saw that he was near the top of the stairs to the catwalk. I was afraid he would trip because it was so dark, so I turned on the safety lights to make sure he was safe.
Okay.
Right. She said that earlier, and that's why the safety lights were turned on during the crime. So, when you ran up the stairs to the catwalk, was there anything that you saw that struck you as...
If someone explain this to my brain,
It's
because
not
because
exactly what I saw that caught my attention. It's what I heard.
What did you hear, defendant?
clang.
While running up the stairs, I heard a loud clang from above.
Hold it! How loud exactly? did you
Okay,
say it was?
so
Pretty loud, actually. I'm sure that the others who were near the stage would have heard it too.
yeah, because the
Taylor
playwright.
said he heard the same thing in his testimony. I thought Miss Pillamere knocked out the victim with the
That's
razor.
what makes sense.
Could it have been something else? She also mentioned it in her testimony, after all. How did you react to the noise?
It startled me. It made me even more worried for Overall. I had to see what was going on up there.
So what
did
had
you see when you
happened?
got to the top?
When
So
I reached the top of the catwalk,
if it's not
I saw
Suri,
Suri looking over the edge with a special fabric in her mouth.
Hold it! You saw Miss Pillamere?
I recognized her the instant I saw her. I never thought I would ever see her again after quitting as her assistant.
Do you recall her reaction to seeing you?
She looked very shocked. In fact, she looked just as shocked to see me as she did when she was staring over the edge of the catwalk.
Did you see her holding anything other than the fabric?
No, all she had was a rolled up fabric. I didn't see anything.
so that would
else.
disprove her the scarf
What about
bit,
her
but
scarf? Did you see it?
I did, and it was securely wrapped around her neck. There's no way she could have taken it off and put it back on so quickly.
okay,
Sure.
okay,
And
okay.
just to confirm,
Get it?
the special fabric was rolled up and used to knock you unconscious.
Yes, it was rolled up.
This has already been established.
Yes.
You're just poking holes into your own theory now.
Can you stop being so smug, you twat?
And what about Overall? Where was he?
Well, he wasn't anywhere.
What do you mean?
When I got to the top of the catwalk, all I saw was Suri. Overall was nowhere to be seen.
What?
Huh? Miss Pommel, are you suggesting that Overall just disappeared?
I don't know. I was confused too. But that's what I saw. He wasn't on the catwalk at all.
Well, this throws a wrench into my theory. If Overall wasn't on the catwalk by the time Coco made it up there, that could only mean...
Was the rope already
You don't
fastened?
think that the victim had already been hanged by the time he got up there, do you?
Now that you mention it, I did hear the crowd panicking when I got to the top. And I'm sure whatever Suri saw gave her that expression when she looked down. It's possible. She was looking at the body.
Then how did he...
What?
Yeah, so
How is that possible?
if it wasn't her, then how the hell would he have been hung off the edge? Seriously. You're trying to defend her... Oh, he's just lost his nut. He's just lost his nuts and bolts there.
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? The defense has managed to disprove his own theory with his client's testimony.
He has?
Go on, filthy human. Say it.
Racist.
Admit that according to Miss Pommel's testimony, Miss Polymer cannot possibly be the killer. And as
No.
a result, the only other one it could be is the defendant.
You're missing a very glaring thing right there, dude. Like, she showed up after the fact. You dunce.
Watch, Your Honor. The attorney there will clearly opt
No.
to strike all of the defendant's testimony.
No,
from the
you
record.
dummy.
Please, Mr. Wright, you have to believe me. I know it ruins the case you built, but it's all true. I swear.
Blue Blood's right. I could easily have this testimony discarded and go straight for a not guilty verdict. But Coco risked everything to bring this information to light. She must really believe that Miss Polymer is innocent. And given the testimony she's provided so far, it certainly seems to be the
But
case.
then who
She's
did it?
trusting me to save some pony she cares about. And I'm not
That's the
about to betray
question.
that trust.
Who could it be, though? Yeah, you just proved that it
Your Honor,
was Suri.
the defense will not have the defendant's testimony stricken from the record.
You won't? But that means...
Yes, we're accepting the defendant's testimony as truth.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Then, does that mean you have evidence to prove how Miss
No.
Polymer could have committed the crime under these new
I don't know.
circumstances?
No, Your Honor, we do not.
What? But wasn't she your prime suspect for the theft and the framing and the murder?
Yeah?
I do still believe that she stole the fabric and framed Coco. However, I am certain, based on Coco's testimony, that she was not the one who killed
So
overall
who
concept.
did?
I see. And what, pray tell, do you think can prove your point? After all, there's nothing to suggest that the defendant is even telling the truth here, is there?
Talk about showing your hand. Blue Blood's clearly baiting me into presenting this evidence. He knows what it will prove if I do. But there's no way to go but forward.
So what is the evidence now, though? What is the evidence, then?
Your Honor, the defense would like to present a piece of evidence at this time. Evidence that will reveal the truth behind this.
Yeah, they're just kind of running circles around my brain. Once they say what it is, it's probably going to seem obvious in retrospect, but hey, we'll see.
Isn't that the noose used in the crime?
Yeah.
Earlier, we determined that Miss Polymer had touched the fabric roll by finding traces of fluorescent paint on it. Now,
There's no paint on the noose
what do
now,
you
is it?
suppose we'll find if we examine this with a forensics flashlight?
Well, if she's the culprit, I'd imagine there'd be traces of paint on the rope.
And if there isn't, then that would mean that she's innocent of this murder, correct?
Yes, I suppose so. But do you know what you're doing, Mr. Wright?
I couldn't be more certain, Your Honor.
Very well. Then please, test the rope for fluorescent paint.
Yeah, so... But then how's the... I've been getting messages this whole time. Sorry.
There's no paint!
Yeah.
There's no paint on the rope!
One sec. You're gloating a little too early.
Attorney, you've fallen right into my trap.
Prince Blueblood, what do you mean?
Your Honor, as we've all seen, this rope has no fluorescent paint on it, which means that Miss Polymer cannot be the killer.
Duh, you dunce.
The only other clue left as to the identity of the killer are the traces that were found on the rope.
The other traces?
If you recall, Your Honor, this rope had
Glitter,
been
yes.
found around the noose.
Oh, that's right.
This must mean that someone who had glitter-covered hooves must have been the one to wrap the noose around the victim's neck. There were only 2 ponies who had the opportunity to do that after the victim was knocked out, and both of them would have had glitter on their hooves. Miss Pommel and Miss Polomare. However, now that we know that there was no paint on the rope, that rules out the witness, leaving the defendant
Except
the only possible
she was
suspect.
knocked
Oh,
out.
that's right.
What? No! It wasn't me!
Silence, you criminal! It's impossible for you to escape your punishment now. Isn't that right, defense?
Au contraire.
Objection! But Coco couldn't have used the fabric roll to knock the victim out. There's no way she could be the killer.
Objection! Just because she couldn't have knocked the victim out doesn't mean she can't be the killer.
Why not?
Have you already forgotten what your spiky-headed friend has already demonstrated? That Miss Polomare here was the one who knocked the victim unconscious by throwing him against the catwalk railing using her scarf?
No.
After incapacitating the victim, likely because she was trying to stop him from catching her after
That still
stealing
proves
the
that she
Miss
committed
Pommel
theft
showed
and
up on the
assault.
scene and proceeded to hang the victim.
Objection!
No.
Coco had cleaned off all the glitter on her hooves before going up the catwalk. Sorry even testified that Coco
Exactly.
had to do so.
Objection! However,
Oh, come on,
it was
Blood.
confirmed that the defendant did in fact have clean hooves when she arrived on the scene.
But...
It's the end of the line for you, defense. Am I wrong, Mr. Wright?
No. I mean, yes, you are wrong.
Everything is going according to plan, even though it's now clear who killed the victim. I think it's time we remove the
So,
last trace
wait,
of
you
the
know
before tonight.
who? Who?
Mr. Wright, do you have anything that can refute the prosecution's claim?
I don't, Your Honor, but someone here does.
Then who?
And who would that be, Mr. Wright?
Isn't it obvious? The one pony who can testify for certain exactly when Coco's hooves were covered in glitter. Surrey Polomare!
What?
You honestly think she's going to testify for you now? What a joke.
Yeah, I'm confused by
You just
this.
accused her of a murder she never even committed. Why in Equestria do you think she would want to help you?
Surrey, you've always believed that it's every pony for themselves in the big city, right? And yet, as we've just seen, Coco put her own life on the line to protect you.
Yeah.
She saved you from being charged with a murder you didn't commit.
One sec.
Now, it's your turn to save her.
My turn?
Yes.
What's her?
If you confess to everything you did that night, and everything you saw, it will prove Coco's innocence beyond all doubt.
Confess.
Yeah, as in tell the truth for once.
Help Coco.
You lying
And
bitch.
your testimony, your confession, is the last piece I need to completely prove her innocence. However, you must tell the truth this time. We aren't going to get another shot at this.
I wouldn't trust the bitch, but
Please, Surrey. I trust you.
I wouldn't.
No,
She's an habitual liar and a cheat. I wouldn't.
Trust me?
But it's My Little Pony. It's Equestria. They, heel turn,
This
heel
melody.
face turns happen more than once in this.
Up, attorney. She is not going to testify.
Shut up.
Fine then. I confess.
What?
Confessing to, witness?
I confess to stealing the fabric and attacking Coco.
You're admitting that it was you?
Silence yourself.
Shut up, you pawns.
Ruin my-
Shut up!
Thank you.
I don't care about your case, okay? I'm gonna tell the whole truth of that night, whether you want me to or not.
Will none of you treat me with the respect I deserve?
Earn it first, then, you prick!
Blue Blood, nephew of...
Witness, I hope you realize that
Blue Blood, we don't give a rat's fart what your title is. A title does not earn respect necessarily. You certainly didn't earn it just because you're related to somebody.
these are not minor offenses you are confessing to.
I am well aware, Your Honor, but I refuse to just stand by and let Coco take the
After
blame for this
a
murder.
while, it's getting a little uncomfortable to just sit still, so apologies.
Don't misunderstand me. I've not been moved by your sentimental pleas for help.
Sure you haven't.
I don't
Sure you
want
haven't.
to have to
Sure
owe
you
you
haven't.
Or that attorney any favors in the future.
Okay, I can kind of believe that.
Of course.
Yeah, I can kind of believe that,
Then,
man.
witness,
So,
please proceed with your confession.
go on. Bring it all. The truth.
That night, I went to the theater of my own volition. I was there to steal the fabric, as Mr. Wright predicted, and yes, I attacked Coco in the process.
But the fabric's existence was only known to Coco, Overall, and Playwright, and those whom they told. How did you come by this knowledge?
I can't say.
Why not?
You have to.
Look, I just can't, okay? Don't ask about it anymore, or I will be withdrawing my confession.
Very well.
Someone put you
Although I
up to
can't
it?
help but be curious. So, what exactly happened after you entered the theater?
Playwright didn't have anything to do with it, did he?
Through the back door, just like you said, and made my
No,
way to the dressing
couldn't
room.
be.
There were two ponies in there, Coco and Overall. I kept my eyes on the room and the surrounding area, waiting for an opportunity to take the fabric. After Coco left the room, I hid behind a curtain so that I would not be seen.
Okay.
Overall was still in there, but I figured this would be the best chance I had to steal the fabric. I waited until his back was turned and then entered the room. I quietly picked up a wooden roll that was sitting on the table and began rolling up the fabric that had been left out.
I see.
Uh-huh.
But to actually manage to sneak in and roll up the fabric, something else must have captured Overall's attention. Something to keep him occupied long enough to allow for Suri to do what she did. I doubt she would have been successful otherwise. But what could it have been?
Yeah, what would have caught his attention
What happened next?
to be distracted for that
I
long?
managed to roll the fabric up unnoticed, but Overall noticed me as I was leaving and he started chasing me. I bolted for the back door, but I noticed Coco Palmel coming back to the dressing room. Before she had a chance to see me, I went straight for the catwalk, hoping that Overall would be slow climbing up so that I could escape. The lights came on as I turned the corner, but I paid them no mind and kept running. As soon as I reached the end of the catwalk, I heard a loud bang behind me. And when
Behind
I
you.
looked back, Overall was just gone.
That lines up with what Coco said.
But he was just chasing you. How could he have just disappeared like that?
I was just as lost as you are. I was happy that he wasn't chasing me anymore, but that noise worried me. So I went back to see what had happened. I started hearing screams of terror from the audience. With my worries growing, I looked down and what I saw was Overall's body hanging from the catwalk.
What in the...
What?
So who did it?
Order! Order, I say! Witness, are you saying that the victim was hanged during your chase?
It sounds crazy, I know, but that's what I saw.
One sec.
I was about to run for the back door before the police had a chance to arrive, but as I was looking down at the body, Coco had come up on the catwalk as well. I was freaking out. She was wondering where Overall was, and she started moving towards me. I didn't know what to do, and I was too afraid of being caught stealing his fabric and possibly being seen as a killer. So I took the fabric roll and I swung it as hard as I could on Coco's head and knocked her out.
This cannot be...
So was it
It
an...
was at that point that a certain thought.
And what would that
came
be?
to me. I can I can use this. I can frame her. Get back at her for everything.
What? So you really were trying to plant the whole thing on the defendant?
Coco and that prissy unicorn Rarity. They both ruined me. I was seen as a cheater in the fashion world.
That's 'cause you were.
Humiliated. I wanted payback. So I removed the fabric from the roll as I was still intending on keeping it. However, in my haste to remove the fabric, I accidentally tore a piece of it off in the process.
How did you do that?
I think the answer to that question would be because of the exposed splinters on the fabric roll. Correct?
You got it. A bit of the fabric got caught on a splinter and tore off as I unwrapped it. I tried to catch it before it fell, but it was too late. Luckily, it went unnoticed thanks to the panic as a result of the hanged body. Once I had the fabric off the roll, I shook off some of the glitter onto Coco's hooves and placed the fabric roll itself between them.
That would explain why the glitter left on the catwalk was in a pile. You quickly dropped it in one place instead of wasting precious time by spreading it about.
That's right. After I had covered both Coco's hooves and the fabric roll in glitter, I placed the roll in Coco's hooves to complete the picture that Coco had attacked and hung the victim.
But then who
I fled down the
killed
left
him?
side of the catwalk and left the building.
Leaving a trail of footprints and fluorescent paint behind you for us to find.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that paint was on the fabric in the first place. I only found out when it was brought up during this trial.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay attention to what Coco and Overall were working on in the dressing room, and the lights were on when I stopped running on the catwalk. I was completely unaware I had left any prints. Even after I got home, I wasn't aware of the paint. The rain must have washed it off
Yeah.
the hooves and
We've
the
established that bit.
And this is the full truth this time, right, witness?
Yes. Every last thing I saw and did that night.
So, who could have caused him? Who could have killed him then? Unless it was an accident of some kind? I don't know how. Just how did it happen and how are they going to prove it? One sec. Sorry. Discord conversation is trying to go
There,
on.
Mr. Wright, you have my confession. I stole the fabric, attacked Coco, and framed her for murder. Now
Which
the
is-
ball's in your court to save her.
Which is still a lengthy, it's pretty,
Thank you for your cooperation.
still some
Don't
pretty
sleep over
heavy charges there for prison time.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news to you all. This proves nothing. The defendant is still
No.
the only one who could have committed the
doesn't.
crime.
Objection! Then you must not have been listening to the confession
Yeah.
at all, Prince
Duh,
of Blood.
dumbass.
If you had been, it should be clear that there's no way Coco was responsible for this.
Explain then, if you can.
Oh, he can very
According to
easily,
the
you
confession
dunce.
that was just given, not only was Coco not even on the catwalk when the victim was hanged, but Miss Polomare herself admitted just now that it was she who covered the defendant's hooves in glitter.
Yeah,
No!
yeah.
And since that's the case, then it's impossible for Coco to have been the one to leave the traces of glitter on the noose. That, in conjunction with her exact whereabouts at the exact time of the murder, should prove beyond any doubt that Coco Pommel is innocent.
Yeah,
No! No!
that does bear one important question, though. Who done it?
Order! Order in the court! Mr. Wright, you...
Objection! This is impossible! Human, if neither pony could have murdered Overall, then who are you proposing is the true culprit? There was no one else on that catwalk who could have done it!
Are you certain about that?
Huh? Yeah, I'm missing that one, too.
Aren't you forgetting someone? One other pony that was on the catwalk at the time of the crime.
Was it? Wasn't
No!
Playwright, was it?
Serious?
Mr. Wright, are you suggesting...
What?
It seems as though we finally arrived at the truth. As much as I don't want to believe it.
It wasn't playwright, was
I
it?
don't understand why. This is the only possibility left.
We got a half hour left.
Phoenix, you aren't going to...
The one responsible for taking the victim's life was the only other pony who was at the crime scene when he was hanged. And that, of course, would be the victim himself. Overall concept!
Oh. Oh.
Hello?
Oh.
Order! Order! Order in the
Are you
court!
suggesting suicide or an accident?
Right. Have you completely lost your mind? Are you suggesting that the victim committed suicide?
That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection! Are you crazy? There is nothing in the evidence or testimony that suggests...
She was about to be married to Coco. Oh, come
I
on.
have to agree here, Phoenix. Murder is already rare enough in Equestria, but suicide? That's entirely unheard of.
I figured as much. But despite how improbable it may be, it's the only logical conclusion I can think of that can solve this case.
Or an accident.
Logical? How can you even call this logical? You have a good explanation for this, human.
Although I can't claim to know why the victim would do this, I can hazard a guess to what happened that night. Overall concept, after chasing Miss Polymere up to the catwalk, grabbed the rope that was prepared by the stagecoach during intermission. Wrapping it around his neck, he jumped over the railing to his death. We've heard testimonies from both defendant and witness, and together, they prove rather conclusively that Overall was the only other one on the catwalk at the time of the crime. If
But that-
neither of them could have done it, then it could have only
That's
been
gonna
the
break
victim
Coco's
himself.
heart if that's true.
Objection! Your delusions have utterly ruined your sense of reason, human. Time to bring you back to reality. The victim was unconscious due to a blow to the head at the time of his death. Are you meant to believe that he committed suicide while he was unconscious?
Of course not. But we may have made an incorrect assumption regarding this blow to the head.
What do you mean?
What?
We all came to the conclusion that the victim was unconscious because he was knocked out by someone. But that's where we were wrong. It wasn't because he was attacked. He was knocked unconscious after hitting his head against something as he was falling.
What?
What could the victim have even hit his head on?
The railing.
Might I suggest he hit the back of his head on the catwalk railing? He must have not jumped far enough and received a pretty nasty bruise as a result, which knocked him unconscious.
How outrageous! And I suppose you have something
So-
to support that claim?
Man.
Playing that Surrey, Coco, and Playwright heard. It was
Yeah.
the sound of the victim's head colliding with the railing.
Ah, poor Coco.
Objection! You can't be serious, human! This theory of suicide is completely baseless. I demand to see real, physical evidence that points to this ridiculous assertion being the truth.
I have it right here.
Huh?
The autopsy report? How does that prove anything?
Right here, where it says the victim had traces of glitter on his forehooves.
So what? That doesn't prove anything.
Prince Blueblood, what's the matter?
He's finally realized the truth, Your Honor.
The glitter on the
As
rope.
established, there are traces of glitter around the noose. The two ponies who were most likely to have left glitter on it could not have done so. The lack of
So
frozen
he-
paint clears Ms. Polymere, and the noose had already been thrown off the catwalk by the time the defendant arrived.
So
Not
it's
to
obviously
mention,
not either of
Ms.
them.
Polymere admitted that she was the one who coated Coco's hooves in glitter after the victim died.
Yeah.
Therefore, there was only one other pony who could have left glitter on the noose. The only other pony who had traces of glitter on his hooves and went up the catwalk at the time of the crime. Overall concept!
Objection! You haven't won yet. You still haven't explained why the victim would take his own life.
Because his prize work was stolen?
And was even planning to propose
Yeah,
to the
that's...
defendant. And on top of all of that, if he was planning on committing suicide, why do it in the middle of a play in front of thousands of ponies in the audience? You don't have an answer, do you? I knew it.
You're right. I don't have an answer why the victim decided to commit suicide. But that's not something that needs to be
Technically true. They only needed to prove Coco's innocence.
The purpose of this trial was to ascertain whether or not the defendant, Coco Palmel, was guilty of the murder of Overall
True.
Concept.
And she
From
didn't.
the testimony and evidence that's been presented, I'd say the answer to that question has been made abundantly clear by now. As for why the victim chose to end his own life, I'd say that's up to the police to investigate and discover the truth behind that mystery.
As much as I share
Suck on it,
else's
Blue Blood.
confusion, I have to agree with the defense.
Yeah.
You're actually going along with
Well, it's not the point of the trial. The point of the trial is not to...
I'm afraid. I would like to request that the police continue their investigation in order to uncover further information regarding this supposed suicide. As for Surrey Polomere, you will be placed under arrest for perjury, theft, and tampering with the crime scene.
Whatever. It sure beats getting sent to the moon. Just make sure that sentence isn't too long. I have dresses to work on, okay?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you know, right? I got a business running, okay? So I gotta get going then, okay?
Even in another world, you haven't lost your knack for taking a seemingly ordinary murder case and turning it onto its head. Not bad for your first time back in Equestria, I must say.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Your Honor. I can't tell if he's complimenting me or calling me out.
Still, sometimes I wish you would stop for a moment. I'm an old man. I don't know how much more of this my heart can take.
Huh.
Yes, sorry, Your Honor. Okay, maybe he is calling me out.
yeah, it's kind of
As of
looking
right
like that,
now,
Phoenix.
I think it's time I hand down my verdict in the case of Miss Palmel.
Innocent.
No! How can I lose? How can I lose to this hairless ape?
Easily, you racist.
Win streak! No!
He would not have lasted long at all in a COD lobby. Black Ops 2... Modern Warfare 2 lobby, he wouldn't have lasted 10 seconds.
And what a bumpy ride this trial was.
Even Halo 3, he would not have lasted 10
Miss
seconds.
Coco Palmel, I find the defendant
Not guilty. Proven innocent beyond shadow of doubt. Hey, you just take your loss and go, Blue Blood. Stop wasting everybody's time, you turd.
court is
Excuse
now
me.
adjourned.
Yeah, my bed has a squeaky bed frame. Well,
Whoa, now that was an ending I certainly didn't
yeah, I almost
expect.
forgot about you guys.
But you still managed to pull through. Congrats, boss. And you too, Twilight.
Yes! Thank you so much, Phoenix. You saved Coco.
In one way, yeah.
Woo! Daddy wins the case once again. But of course,
But there is one thing to consider.
Juicy, there's no need to shower me with praise.
Coco
Honestly.
realizing that
it's true. I can
the love of
never
her
count
life
you out in trial.
chose
We
to
sure
leave
taught
her.
that prince not to underestimate you in there.
It was so satisfying seeing him fall apart. Especially after going after my dear Coco.
Or they're not gonna focus on that one. They might. Yeah.
Every pony.
Yeah.
Hello there, Coco.
Kinda had a feeling.
Coco! Congrats on getting your acquittal, dear. Thank you, Rarity. I'm very glad. Oh? Then
Why the long face, darling?
Well, I'm happy that I'm off the hook, but I'm still sad about Overall passing away. Especially now that I know how he really died. How could he just do that to himself? Was something hurting him? Was it me?
Miss Pommel?
I don't think it was you.
Yes?
I've studied analytical psychology, so I want to give you my opinion. You were absolutely not responsible for what happened to Overall.
Right. Thank you.
You mentioned earlier in the trial that Overall had a bout of depression following the death of his parents, right?
Well, yes. But that was years ago. And he never seemed upset once we started living together.
It's not uncommon for someone to have periods of depression separated by years where they feel and act perfectly normal. I think Overall may have been suffering from it without anyone realizing.
Well...
Granted, we can't know for sure, but that's what I think anyway.
I had the worst possible joke come into my head. I am sorry. I am sorry. I don't know if I should say it because it actually is a messed up joke. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. That because it is messed up. It is messed up. I'm not gonna say it. I'm sorry. Maybe in private, but no. I will get burned alive for saying it.
Even still, he probably wasn't happy with me.
That couldn't be farther from the truth, Coco. Remember this ring Overall was going to propose to you with? He clearly was at his happiest when he was with you. It's true, we may not know his true reasons for ending his own life, but I know that you were not the reason.
But I could have done something about it. Maybe I should talk to him more, probably been more involved with his designs. If only I didn't leave the dressing room, he would have stayed alive. If only I...
Hey, calm down.
Huh?
Yes.
Take a breather. You'll hurt your vocal cords yelling like that.
Calm your knickers.
Okay.
Listen, you shouldn't blame yourself for Overall's death. There was nothing you could have done.
But if only I were with him the entire time...
There's no way for you to have known.
I understand what you're going through. You thought you could have done something to prevent losing a loved one, but the entire situation was beyond your control. You shouldn't put the burden on yourself. You'll never be able to live in the present if you stay in the past. Besides, in some way, your friend still lives on.
What do you mean?
He may be gone, but his spirit isn't. He was a teacher to you, right? If you learned from him, you're allowing his techniques to live on as well. So in some way, he's always with you.
Amazing how characters who are barely in the dang thing through the thick of it, other than like early on, like they're barely there. We just like, unless we're looking out into the crowd during the trial, like we don't even think about them. We're focused on Phoenix and the prosecution and everything else going on around that. But still, they're able to have very impactful things to say whenever they do get a chance to speak. All I'm saying.
Of course. Overall was teaching you his ways, and I know you've learned so much from him. Now it's up to you to carry on his legacy.
Yes, my butt is sore.
Even though he's gone, I know you'll make sure he is never forgotten.
Thank you, Mr. Wright, Rarity, and, what are your names?
I'm Apollo. Apollo Justice.
And I'm Athena Sykes.
Thank you. All of you, thank you so much. I think I feel a little better now.
Good. That's good.
I don't know how I could possibly live up to Overall's expectations. He always made sure his designs were perfect. And now that he's gone, all of his assets go to me, including his sketches for new designs. They'll be his final pieces of work and they look fantastic. But once it's my turn to design something, I don't know how I could possibly design that caliber on my own. The company played such a big role in the theater industry. I don't know if I'm good enough to do it.
Actually, Coco, you're more talented than you'd let yourself believe.
Oh.
Moira, what are you doing here?
Well, he was a witness.
I wanted to apologize for thinking that you were the one who killed Overall.
It's quite alright, sir. I was the only one up there after all.
After Shuri left.
But this human proved otherwise. Coco, I know you think you may not reach Overall's expectations, but I believe you'll do fine. You were under his wing, after all.
Figuratively.
But sir, he was so much more skilled than me. I don't see...
Miss Pommel, I need you to listen to me. During this trial, I've seen that perfection isn't always the best thing to aim for.
I vaguely remember some of the things he was saying earlier, and that's a big confession there.
The sacrifices you make to get there aren't always
Good thing there are subtitles for me to read in case I talk over it.
May have been partially my fault for Overall taking his own life.
Okay, that's a revelation.
Why?
I was so obsessed with making my plays perfect that I never realized how I've often mistreated my staff. Without a doubt, this applies to both you and Overall. I was a terrible leader. So, from now on, instead of striving for perfection, I will do my best to achieve something greater that all of us can be proud of. Not just for me and you, but for the rest of the staff as well.
Playwright,
Overall told me time and time again that your skills had even surpassed his own. In fact, when he came on stage during intermission that night, he wanted to talk to me about letting you design costumes for the show after the next. He said that it was time that your own work became known, and that this was a perfect opportunity. At the time, I said I'd think about it, but admittedly I was going to reject his request.
Sorry.
However,
A little sweaty around
that's
the ears.
all changed now. In honor of Overall's last wish to me, I hereby promote you, Miss Pommel, to head costume designer for Broadway Theater.
So
thank you. I will do my best to make sure that my designs will be the best they can be.
my butt is
I'm
sore.
sure you will. That twinkle in your eye, you're really just like Overall, you know? Come on, let's get back to the theater. I want to make sure the staff knows you are all right.
Of course, sir. We still need to make some costumes for the next play anyway. And I certainly will have my own ideas to implement.
That's the spirit, darling. And once you do design some of your own clothes, I'd be happy to sell them in my store for you. I could even use some of Overall's special fabric as inspiration for my next clothing line. If you'll allow me to have some.
Of course, Rarity. Anything for a dear friend. Well, see you later, every pony.
Well, she is certainly perked up a lot.
And there they go. What's wrong, Twilight?
Oh, it's nothing. I'm just glad to see Coco so happy.
I know, right? I can hear a lot of happiness coming from her. Playwright did a great job cheering her up. I can hear lots of happiness from him as well.
I must confess, I've actually never seen Playwright this happy before.
Really?
You see, Playwright hasn't always been in the best of moods. At least whenever I visited the theater.
Well, he did say that he's always been striving for perfection.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the emotional stress he puts himself in, day out.
It did. His never-ending desire to achieve perfection made him so stubborn and short-tempered, and it put the staff under a lot of stress. I was very upset with how unfairly he treated every pony.
Being the element of generosity, I
Yeah.
can understand why that would upset you.
But this is the first time he considered the well-being of others. He was only ever remotely happy when he thought he
So,
was
we've got, like,
perfection.
13
I've never
minutes
seen him show this much sympathy
left.
for anybody else.
Showing sympathy to others is an easy way to let them know that we care about what happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing negative emotions to your peers will only spread more negativity, and that leads to an unhealthy environment.
Mm-hmm.
This tragedy must have given him that revelation.
Unfortunately, stuff like that can kind of open your eyes to,
And I'm
oh.
happy that he's changed for the better.
And Coco seems to be a lot stronger, too.
So what was
And
bothering
I'm
Twilight?
so proud of her for that. Now she's off to forge her own path. I can't wait to see what else she has to offer the fashion world.
Yep, it seems as if everyone is moving on to bigger and better things. Although I can't help but feel a little unsatisfied with the way the trial ended.
Unsatisfied? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, there were still some unanswered questions at the end of it all. The most notable one being, why did Overall Concept take his own life?
That's something I can't begin to fathom. Overall was certainly a very happy individual. Even with depression possibly being a factor, his life seemed to only be getting better and better. With his fame, job, and even some pony he cared enough about to want to propose to them, he never seemed like the kind of pony to even consider suicide.
It makes me wonder too, but unfortunately, there's no clear answer. Let's hope that the police can investigate further and find out the truth soon.
Unless it was an accident, but I don't know.
Hey, you showed that prissy prince. I definitely enjoyed myself.
Seeing blue blood suffer is always a plus.
Character, isn't he? Oh, that reminds me. Twilight, I have a question for you.
What is it, Phoenix?
You said that Prince Blueblood was prosecuting for experience when he can rule a kingdom, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And as princess, you're able to stand in court as an attorney as well, correct?
Okay.
Yes,
So, what I'm trying to understand is, why did you feel the need to summon me when it seems as if you could have handled this whole situation yourself?
Yeah, why?
I know you're capable of doing it. You saved me quite a few times in court today. You've clearly been studying law for a while now, even if this is your first real time practicing it. In fact, didn't you say that ponies who are of royalty need experience in upholding the law? Considering you're a princess, doesn't that technically mean you have an obligation to represent Miss Pommel?
Maybe she...
well, I just... When Rarity told me the story, I didn't really have a lot of time to think about who would represent Coco.
She was just
so
like,
That doesn't really make sense, Twilight.
Season 2, Episode
Summoning
3.
me would have meant you would have had to gone through the trouble of getting an equestrian attorney's badge ready again. Also, the one accused of murder is a friend of your friend, and considering you're the princess of friendship, that's more of a reason to take on the case yourself.
Trial run, maybe?
You did say that you've been studying law ever since you became a princess. The more I think about it, the less I understand it. If you appear so capable of taking on a case, why did you feel the need to summon me?
You just miss him?
What? Cyclops?
What's wrong, Phoenix?
Nothing. Forget I asked. What does this mean? What is Twilight trying so hard to hide from me?
I have not played the Phoenix Wright games. I have the Ace Attorney games. I have no freaking idea what Cyclops is. Hi, Pinky.
Where did you come from, Pinky?
It's Pinkie Pie, don't question it.
My parents, Feeny. Hey, Pinky.
Where were you sitting in the gallery? I didn't see you.
It's Pinkie Pie, don't question it.
I was with Fluttershy and Applejack, so she certainly wasn't with me.
She wasn't with me, Apollo, or
Oh, you know, she was just written in at that moment.
Yeah, I was late. Late? But this is clearly an important trial to us. I know Rainbow had some wonderful dessert business to attend to, but how could you possibly be late? I slept in.
Oh, well, she's honest about it. Again?
I can't help it. I had one of those really fun dreams. I didn't want them to stop. So I tried sleeping some more.
Doesn't this pony have a day job? How has she not been fired already?
It's Pinkie Pie, don't question it.
Hey, I have a job. I'm in the cheeky corner helping the cakes make cakes. And I'm also a party executive extraordinaire. So I help throw parties that'll shake your flank all night.
With the amount of energy it takes to party that hard, it makes sense that you sleep for so long.
So why did you come to us, Pinky?
Don't you remember, Feeny? Congratulations on winning the trial party.
Of course.
Oh, you already had that party
party ready?
It's Pinkie Pie. She just has to set a cannon there and go, boom. There's your party.
The drinks, the guests, and decorations ready. I even brought a DJ to the party too.
Cakes, drinks, guests.
Yeah, it's Pinkie Pie. She's got this stuff on lockdown.
This party is gonna be wild!
This sounds like a very stacked party. When did you get everything prepared?
It's Pinkie Pie.
Prepared as soon as I woke up.
Wow, that must have taken forever to prepare.
No, she's just real. She's
It wasn't hard. I do this all the
yeah,
time.
she's an expert at prepping this stuff.
Hold on a second. I thought you slept in. How did you get the time to prepare a big party like that?
By doing it quickly, silly.
So then, when did you wake up?
10 minutes ago.
A couple of hours ago.
Wait. Doesn't it take a couple of hours to get to Manhattan from Ponyville?
Riders, do you want to explain this one?
But I thought you said you woke up a couple of hours ago.
Yes.
I sure did.
But that means the second you woke up
You fully prepared a big party.
and caught the train here.
If you question it too much,
Minutes?
your brains will explode.
Sure sounds like it.
But that's...
How were you able to prepare a party that big in such a small span of time?
I told you, Polly, by doing it quickly.
So his nickname's Polly, I got you.
You'd be amazed at what this pink mare is
Yeah,
capable of.
just roll with it, dude.
Has great work ethic,
Just
Polly.
roll with it. That's all you can do.
100 clients, and maybe I'll consider taking lessons.
Boss, does this pink pony have time powers? There's no way she's capable of that.
She has fourth wall powers.
Nah, that's just Pinkie Pie being Pinkie Pie. You better just get used to it.
The wisest words.
What does that even mean?
Just trust me on this. It's for your own sake.
Yeah, just roll with it.
This world isn't testing it enough.
Yeah, just roll with it. That's all you can do. Just roll with it.
Magic performance at your party.
A human doing a magic show? That sounds exciting. I've always wanted to see a human do magic.
I'm the best magician in the city where I'm from. I can guarantee you all a good show.
Well, that sounds like it'll be a wonderful time.
I'm certainly looking forward to it. Hopefully, I don't get forced to dance until I throw my back out.
Come on, everybody. Let's get
A possibility with this one, Phoenix. It's a possibility with this one.
And as
For-
quickly as it started, the case came to a close.
All right.
Pinkie threw a party for all of us to celebrate, and it was actually very enjoyable.
Ow, my butt. Good thing I
For a
was done
little
with this.
vacation, it was a nice change of pace from what I usually do after a trial. Unfortunately, this little moment of sunshine and rainbows...
Because there's more to this part of the story. There's more to this.
Unbeknownst to us, something darker was lurking in the shadows of this colorful world. Something that teased at a broader mystery. And little did any of us realize that during our carefree celebration, that mystery would continue to unfold not too far from us. It's a mystery I won't soon forget, as it brought me to someone that I thought I would never see again.
I still haven't watched
Someone
Turnabout
who was the
Storm.
spitting image of a dear friend I knew a long time ago.
Someone from Turnabout Storm or from the other games? Turnabout Theater. End. Okay. Okay. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! How did I not notice this before? The judge was DeWilstonator. Dude! Okay, I say, how did I not notice this before? As long as it's entirely possible that I noticed it at one point, but just didn't think, So, it's possible. I may have noticed it before, but just... Hopefully it'll stick in my head this time, in the off chance that it was revealed to me before, but... Yeah, the judge was DeWilstonator. So, yeah, like... So, I've... The only other one that I've heard... Excuse me. Hate when you're trying to talk and there's burping that wants to come up. But anyways, DeWilstonator. I've actually met DeWilstonator. And I've heard of Wubcake. I've heard her work in other things as well. I'm gonna let this play out. Sorry for making this longer than it needed to be. 2 hours already. Yes. Yes. Long time. So I'm going to take a stab in the dark and assume that we don't get any reasoning for why overall concept committed suicide, which is what it most likely seems that it could have been. So, yeah. The question now becomes, what's next in the elements of justice? Well, I can take a quick look right now and see. Bonds of... Oh, wait. Bonds of Justice, story number 1, messages? That's probably something in between. Okay. The next one is Elements of Justice, crusading for a turnabout. So that's the next one. Should I react to the Bonds of Justice things in between? I know that I was asked about doing like the bloopers, I think, but yeah, Turnabout Storm. Look, Turnabout, this Elements of Justice here is long enough. I'll watch Turnabout Storm in my own time. We've still got 1:20 minutes left. What? 1 year ago, Ponyville prison solitary confinement? Number 13? Teaser. Okay. About to get an answer to the who.
Knock knock, rise and shine, inmate. Guess what day it is? That's right. As of today, you're a free mayor.
I'm assuming this is someone from the Turnabout Storm series.
It must feel nice to finally be out after 8 months, huh? Right. Well, you're lucky that human defense attorney proved that you didn't murder any pony. You probably would have been banished from the mood if you hadn't.
I get a feeling that's not what she wants to hear.
You left him back in the courtroom. Well, this is it. But before you leave, I want to ask you something.
An
Now that
OC?
you're out, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to help those that need it, just like he did for me.
Royal Order. Okay. I have no idea who in the Sam hell that is. I do know. I need to stand because my butt is sore! Ow! Oh! Soreness! Ah! And I'm not gonna have any time to edit this tonight, unfortunately. At least I'm pretty sure I won't. Because I've got work tomorrow, and it's already 2 a.m. So, 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 31, 32, 33 seconds in, etc. I'm glad that we proved that Coco was innocent. I was extremely surprised that Suri was not the guilty party, at least as far as the murder was concerned. As far as the death was concerned, I should amend myself by saying that it's looking like it was a suicide and not a murder. Oh, unless it was an accident. You know? But the only thing that I can think of that would make sense for the suicide, for it to be a suicide in this case, was if he kind of failed to catch Suri. Like, he thought that Suri had got away. Maybe the frustrations of that, along with dormant depression coming back, making him think like he was like his life, like just something along those lines. I know the thought process in my head, but I'm not having the best of times trying to figure out the best way to say it, if that makes sense. Like I got the ideas in my head, I just don't know the best way to word it. I'm mad at myself for having that messed up joke in my head. It's making me laugh, but suicide is kind of a serious subject, so I'm not going to say the joke and have people breathing down my neck, so I'm just leaving that off. But anyways, if somebody wants to ask what it was in a Discord message, maybe, but no, I'm not telling the joke in a YouTube video. All that said and done, I'm glad that Coco was proven innocent. Very surprised that Suri was proven innocent of having killed anyone, although good thing that she's got the book thrown at her for perjury, theft, and assault. And just Athena and Apollo's reaction to Pinky being Pinky. It's like, don't question it, you two. You will just get a headache. It will just hurt your brain. You will see smoke frying out the side. This doesn't make sense. Twilight can tell you firsthand. First off, like, trust me, just roll with it. It's so much better for your sanity. I need to wrap this up, though, because 2¼ hours is long enough of a reaction, I would have to say. What did you guys think of this? Let me know in the comments down below. Like if you enjoyed. Comment what your thoughts on this were, on this first trio of videos in the end. And your theories and whatnot. Subscribe if you're new. And tap the bell to get notified whenever I upload a video so you don't miss any reactions, gameplay, or otherwise for me. Also, go check out my Discord. Link is also down in the description. Come join, we'll talk, post memes, songs, videos, artwork. You can even self-promote your own stuff and just have some fun. And I do have a Patreon in case you guys feel like showing some extra support. This has been Lance Corbalhawk 30, signing off.